What is going on, everybody? Cole Simonson here today, and we are going to Euro this elk skull. I'm kind of gonna do it in a vlogging way, really just one-on-one. So first thing we're gonna do here is, I had already cut off a lot of the meat and I couldn't get to it right afterwards due to work, so I just let it soak in water. I didn't let it get dry. If you let it get dry, it's just a pain in the ass to get that meat off. Another thing that I made a mistake of, and I was really lazy and I probably shouldn't have done, is I kind of just left it out in my game bag for a few days, and when I got onto it, it had 2,000, 3,000 maggots on it, and it was just nasty. So to save yourself the nasty experience of that, put it in water or freeze it before, if you can't get it to it right away. But right now we are going to wrap these horns with plastic wrap so they don't get discolored in the boil, and we are going to start boiling it. I had this water kind of warming up already, but we'll set him in here, make sure that he is fully covered like so. And all I'm using here is just a little $5 bucket I picked up at Menards, and a little turkey burner. Turn that up. So this is the little just Stanley pressure washer. I mean, 1600 psi is all you need. Does these skulls great. All I really do is just plug it in and put water to it and start spraying. Now, a couple things with these elk skulls, or any skull in general. First things first, you want to cut off as much meat as possible. Makes it so much easier when you're spraying. And secondly, you just really, like I showed you, want to wrap those horns so you don't get any discoloration. But other than that, it's way more economical and cheaper to do it this way than have a taxidermist do your skull every time. Not saying anything bad against taxidermists, because they need to make a living too, but for the price of a elk European, which is usually anywhere from $200 to $300, you can buy all the stuff and still be money ahead. I think this was maybe $100. Boiler, you can usually find those for really cheap, used, if not for free. Pots, same thing, very inexpensive. Aprons and gloves and knives and stuff like that. By the time you buy all those and do it yourself, you're still, $50, maybe even $100 ahead. And then you can continuously do that with all the same tools, so the next skull is even cheaper, and pretty much the only thing you have to buy after that is the ingredients to degrease and bleach the skull. So we're going to get this hooked up and then go check on our pot, make sure we're not over boiling. Alright, just a little tip here. You see how that water is right at the edge of all that wrapping? That's to get everything below that like horn base heated up so we can spray that off too. And that's why we wrap it, is so you can get as close to all that gunk and nasty stuff as you possibly can without damaging the horns. So right now with how that's wrapped, that horn in all theory should not have any discoloration. And we'll probably wrap it again right before we actually put the bleaching chemical in it, so we're double sure that we're keeping all that natural horn color, and so we don't damage the horns in any way possible. But this is the long part, is the boiling part. It's starting to bubble a little bit, but we'll get that boiling, and then probably turn down the heat a little bit, and then check on that check on the skull every few minutes, make sure until it starts actually peeling back that membrane layer and really loosening up all that leftover meat and gunk. Then we're going to spray it off and get everything nice and clean, and then we'll be ready to bleach. Alright, so it's starting to boil here. As you can see, all that nasty stuff is coming out of that skull. What we're going to do is we're just going to turn this down a little bit, just so it doesn't overflow. And we're going to keep it at a boil here. Probably a couple minutes, then we'll check it and see if it's ready to get some light on me. See if it's ready to get pressure washed. So turn that down a little bit more. But so far, if you can see all that discoloration, that's just all grease and gunk from the skull, and you really want that out so in the long run that it doesn't stain and become a really kind of caramely, gross looking color, and you want it to stay white its whole life. You can see there, the meat was kind of pulling away from the skin, so it's time to pull it out, and we're going to go pressure wash it. A couple things you need for pressure washing, or highly recommend, is dirty clothes, rubber gloves, and an apron. Those are a must, because you are going to get dirty and you're going to get crap all up in your face and clothes and feet, and highly recommend safety glasses. So we're going to get him out, and we're going to go get ready to spray him off. You see that nose cavity right there? Yeah, you can try to pull that out. I might have to get some forceps on it, but that needs to all come out. It's all just cartilage, and it keeps oil and grease, and yeah, it's not nice, not good to have it in there. So we'll just try to get as much out by hand as possible. Yeah, that's all nasal cavity. See that? That's all nasal cavity. That's just nasty stuff. You don't want that in there. Oh. spraying in the nasal cavity, be really careful because all this stuff is really really fragile. So if you want to make it look really nice, just be careful in there. Usually turn down the sprayer a little bit. Now, on these animals, they all have these earbuds right in here. What you do, you just gotta get a type of screwdriver or something, a little bar that'll fit in there. You just gotta bust those out. Because one, it helps you clean the brain, and two, it gets all that junk right in there out of there. See, that's just all stuff that can cause grease, and it's on both sides, so I have to do it to both sides. But look, that was all hidden, all that meat right there, that was all hidden under there. So just do both sides here. There's that one. Pop those out. It doesn't hurt the skull in any way, but it's just a bunch of bone that is unneeded, and it helps so much when you're cleaning out the brain cavity. Then next, when you get those earbuds taken care of, you'll really want to spray out this nasal or this brain cavity. There's so much gunk in there, and then once you spray it out, I get some forceps, go in there, grab that brain membrane that actually covers the inside of the skull here, and pull that out. I'll show you that here in a little bit. There's one big mistake, or two big mistakes I really made on this skull. One, I was lazy and left a lot of meat on there and went off and did other things and didn't soak it at all. And two, when I did cut the meat off, I didn't get a whole lot of it off. So what I'll end up having to do is probably boil it again after I get the big chunks off in degreaser again, get the rest of this grease that was built up on there because of the meat, and spray it off again. So to save yourself a little bit of time and effort, you definitely want to get it done as soon as possible. That was my mistake, but we're going to keep spraying here and hopefully get most of this off. We've been spraying and spraying and spraying. You guys don't need to watch 30 minutes of me just spraying and okay. That's pretty much what you want to do, is you just want to keep spraying. When you think you sprayed enough, spray some more. Get all the meat off of it you can. If it looks like meat, get it off. If it's not meat, or if it's too big to get off with the pressure washer, cut it off and then spray again. But now we are going to do the brain cavity. All you need is, I like angled forceps, but you can do it with straight forceps too. I think that's what they're called, right? Forceps? If I'm wrong, in the comments below, tell me. But all you got to do here is we're going to go in to the back of this skull, right in here. Back of this right here, you can actually look up in there and see all the brain matter. You just reach in there, grab, and start pulling. A lot of times it comes out as one, but as you can see, I'm not that lucky. So, but it looks like I got a lot of it with the pressure washer. You can just dig up in there and get that junk out of there, because that will end up stinking and ruin your skull and make your spouse very unhappy with you. Now, like I said, you also want to get that cartilage out of the nasal cavity there. And with these forceps, you can just pretty much grab and start pulling it out piece by piece. But that is stuff you don't want to stay in there. It's really nasty stuff. Alright, so every single part of this elk skull has been gone over multiple times with the sprayer. Hornets, damn. But anyways, I've taken care of it. The brain cavity is clean, and the nasal cavity is clean. Flip over here, show you how there isn't an ounce of that cartilage in there. Blew it all out, pulled it out, did everything I could to get it out. Now, I will tell you, I've been sitting here for about 30 minutes cleaning out maggots from this thing, which is my fault entirely, but there is not one that I can see, or if there is, it's definitely in a place that I cannot reach, and hopefully the peroxide boil that I'm going to put it through completely burns them off, or makes them so they won't smell if there's any in there. Hopefully it doesn't smell in the long run, because it's going to be in my house and it's going to be nasty if it does. But what we're going to do is we're going to go empty out that bucket that we had our degreaser in, and we're going to do the same thing, wrap it up really good, especially with the bleaching process, and we're just gonna bleach this skull. Hopefully it turns out beautiful, which I think it will. I got all the meat off, and it's actually not as bad as I thought it was once I got everything off. So we're gonna get to work. I just want to show you guys the grossness of this boil I've been doing. Everything, all those white things are all maggots in there. And that's not even half of them I've taken off of this skull. Yeah, so don't make that mistake. At least freeze it or put it in water before you can get to it. But it won't happen again. Okay, so this is really important, especially during the bleaching process. What I did here is, you'll notice how tight against the follicle of that horn this saran wrap is. That's what I'll do is I'll push this right up, pretty much tuck it underneath there, and then I take that tape and I really wrap it, and I make sure that there's no gaps in that tape, and really keep that tight down there, so I get as close to the base of the horn so I can get stuff like this off, stuff like that blood spot off, but still not damage the antler in any way, shape, or form. So, and sorry if I'm saying horn and not antler. I really don't care. Okay? But anyways, we're going to tape that up, and then we're going to get in the boil, and I will show you how much I put in for these boils. Alright, what we're using here is like 40 volume clear, I can't even remember. I'm pretty sure it's liquid peroxide or something like that. You can get them at any salon care store. But yeah, I usually just put 2, maybe 3 of these in there if I'm doing one skull. Probably wear gloves when doing that, just a heads up. I know I didn't, whatever. And we are gonna fill it right up to the base there of the skull and let her boil. Alright, so we are starting to boil. As you can see there, it's kind of at a rolling boil. What we'll do is we'll wait about 5 minutes, check it, And then if it's still got greasy spots, brown spots, then we'll dip it back in for another 5 minutes. So we're just gonna let this boil here and watch it really close, make sure it doesn't boil over, and we'll be done here soon. Alright, it's been about 5 minutes. Let's take a look here. Alright. Pretty dang good. Probably stick it in for another minute or two. But other than that, that thing is going to turn out awesome. Alright. Alright, it's been in there probably about a total of 10 minutes, and we are done. Look how white that skull is. It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So that's how you do it. This is and we got one more step left. We're gonna go wash this all off, take off this plastic wrap and tape, and then what we're gonna do is we're just gonna let it air dry. Let the sun do its thing. And we have a do-it-yourself European mount on an elk. So let's go get this sprayed off. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there it is. First time doing a bull elk do-it-yourself European. I did mess up right below the base right here. It's still got a little bit of that bloody color to it. I had my saran wrap and tape a little bit too low, but that's all right. Overall, I'm pretty pleased, especially because I didn't lose any coloration on the bases there, which I really did not want to lose any of that because it's so pretty. But we're gonna let this sun dry, and thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed me doing the video this way, kind of in a vlog, half actual filming style, let me know in the comments below. If you didn't enjoy it, then I'll do it different next time. But please like and subscribe, helps me out a ton, and tell me if you like these videos. So you guys have a great day, and hopefully you're having as good a season as I am.